I do not withhold my blessings from you, my beloved child, but I am waiting to watch if your heart is refined enough to carry their weight. You must understand that an inheritance is never just a reward. It is a test, cloaked in dazzling light. You believe you are ready, but if your spirit remains cluttered, the very gift you pray for will become a subtle trap, one where the enemy does not even need to lift a finger to defeat you. Remember Solomon, whom I filled with unmatched wisdom, honor, and wealth. When his heart slowly drifted away from me, those great gifts turned into a blade against his own soul. He built a magnificent temple for me, yet later built altars for foreign gods. He did not fall when he was empty. He fell in his abundance, when his heart stopped seeking my daily cleansing. I do not pour out my goodness so you will forget me, but so your eyes can finally see clearly. For without my presence, even the greatest blessing transforms into a silent sentence of judgment. There are seasons when I deliberately hide you from the gaze of the world. You cry out, calling it abandonment, but I am actually shielding you from the envious eyes that want to devour the fragile seed of promise but has only just begun to sprout. Those who once stood close to you will suddenly walk away. Your words will seem to lose their power, and your heart will grow bewildered, whispering, "Lord, have you forgotten me?" No, my child. In that dark, lonely place, I am holding you close under the shadow of my wings, keeping you safe, so your destiny can mature rather than perish before its time. If you rush to chase after the spotlight before the appointed hour, you will only destroy the precious season of preparation I have so lovingly designed for you. I will cause certain people to exit your life, and though you may weep and wonder why I am breathing a sigh of relief in the heavens, there are some relationships that I simply cannot allow to go any further with you. I sever these ties not out of coldness, but because I see clearly that they have become leaks through which your spiritual strength is drained. They cheered for you only when you were small, but grew restless and bitter when you began to grow in me. They said nothing when you were bleeding, yet were the first to speak when they could slander your name. The tighter you hold them, the slower you walk. Understand that some of my greatest victories are reserved exclusively for those who are brave enough to accept the loss of certain people. When the prayers dry up on your lips, and my silence stretches so long that your soul feels utterly abandoned, that is when the test is rising to a new level. You cry out to me, asking why I remain quiet while your life seems to fall apart. But I am testing whether you will trust my heart when you can no longer hear my voice. With massive blessings come massive trials. The enemy is never threatened by your empty hands. He trembles when you remain faithful, when you can see absolutely nothing. Do not abandon your post now, for many lose their inheritance in the final 5 minutes before I release the breakthrough. My child, there are times when I choose to be silent, leaving you to feel as though you are floating alone in a vast, empty void. You pray, but hear no reply. You knock, but every door remains shut, and you search the darkness, but see no hand reaching out. Your heart begins to shrink, and your soul starts to crack, believing that I no longer care. Yet in that exact moment of silence, I'm wrapping you in a holy protective mist, because the breakthrough I have promised is drawing near. The enemy is hunting for you, desperate to destroy what is yours. But I have hidden you from the rage of demons and the prying eyes of men. For as my word promises in Psalm 91 verse 1, whoever dwells in my secret place will always find rest under the shadow of my wings. Let me reassure you, my child. You are not abandoned. You are simply being hidden by my own hand. I know that during this quiet season of isolation, your heart is fragile and easily wounded. You watch as those who once loved you slowly drift away. Your words suddenly seem to lose their impact, and every single door slams shut in your face. You cry out, wondering what you did wrong and if I am questioning you. But this is not my anger. It is my fierce protection. There are people in your life who are no longer permitted to hear the sacred things I'm about to whisper into your spirit. because their lips are not pure enough to guard my secrets. I am removing you from places that can no longer nourish the precious seeds I have planted inside you. I sever these connections, not because you are lacking, but because my blessing is drawing near, and I must protect you from envious souls. Understand this, my beloved. I do not hide you to forget you, but to grow you. I will not let you depend on the fleeting praise or approval of this world, for a carrier of my heavenly inheritance cannot live off the fragile applause of men. If you constantly crave recognition, you will break when I place you where no one understands your calling. I am teaching you the wealth of silence, where my voice resounds most clearly. When no one else stands beside you, you will truly hear my footsteps walking with you. This is the truth few accept. Before I lift anyone up, I always lead them into a deep, hidden place first. Just as I once placed Moses in the cleft of the rock as my glory passed by, shielding him so he could survive the weight of my divine splendor, I have placed you there too. In Exodus 33 verse 22, I showed my mercy, and now you find yourself in that same dark, narrow yet utterly safe space. You only see the confusing backside of events right now, while I am working out plans that no one else can see. Your heavy loneliness is not a mark of failure. It is the labor pain of a new birth. Everything great in my kingdom is conceived in quiet stillness. Be patient, while I fashion the deepest parts of your soul the public eye is not yet ready to witness. Stop looking through worldly eyes, or you will wrongly believe I have left you. If you panic, you will step out of the refuge I carefully prepared for you and run straight into the open field where the enemy lies in wait. So many of my children have made this mistake, stepping out before my appointed hour, only to be crushed by the weight of the very blessing they prayed for. You must realize that being hidden by me is not the same as being excluded. It is the holy process I use to protect the most precious things I am forming inside you. If I have not yet allowed you to shine, it is not because you are unworthy. I am simply waiting for your inner light to grow strong enough that it will not be swallowed by the harsh glare of the world. I know you are tired of waiting in the dark, watching doors open for everyone else while you stand outside knocking. But my child, why do you wear yourself out knocking on doors built by men when I am personally fashioning a brand new entrance meant only for you? You think you have been cast aside, but in truth I am separating you from the crowd, so you do not dissolve into their likeness. I am training you to lean entirely on me, not on the loudness of the world or the safety of numbers. You were chosen to build my kingdom, not to blend into the scenery. A true carrier of my glory cannot be trained in the roar of applause. They are refined in deep solitude and tears. Think of young David, forgotten in the fields, while his brothers feasted with the prophet Samuel. In the very moment they overlooked him, I called his name because I saw what they could never see. I'd already seen a heart in David that was humble enough to rule as king. It is the same with you today. It is not through your public exaltation, but through your quiet hiddenness that your blessing is being preserved. Do not fear the thick darkness, for I am standing right beside you. Do not fear being forgotten, because I am holding you in my thoughts more than ever before. If you will only keep your heart at peace in our secret place, I will know the exact millisecond to open the door, and when I open it, no human force can ever shut it. I will not let you collapse right before the finish line. In your loneliest hour, I am closest. Do not look only at your isolation. See my cloak of protection wrapped around you. Do not just hear the silence. Hear my gentle whisper. For when your soul is quiet, you will easily hear the steady heartbeat of my will. The moment you realize that being hidden is not being forsaken, your complaints will turn into songs of thanksgiving. I am teaching you a lesson reserved only for my chosen ones. How to remain completely still in the dark, when every fiber of your being longs for the light. If you master this, you will no longer fear the silence or be anxious when others pass you by. True blessing never arrives early. It comes at the exact moment you are strong enough to hold it, as I promised in Jeremiah 29, verse 11. I know the plans I have for you, plans of peace and not of harm, to give you a future and a hope. That future is drawing closer than you think. But before I can release your inheritance, I must wash away every trace of fear and doubt from your heart. I need you to learn to dwell in my silence and still believe, to remain hidden, and still rejoice to see absolutely nothing, and still remain fiercely faithful. Only those spirits refined in the secret place are strong enough to hold on to their blessing without letting it destroy them. Once you have learned to rest in this hidden season, I will begin pruning away everything that no longer belongs in your future. I do this so that when your harvest arrives, your hands will be light enough to carry it. There are things and people I must remove from your life, not because I want you to suffer, but because I am cutting the very ropes that are quietly strangling your soul. I see the deep affection you hold for them in your heart, and I've counted every single tear you have wept over their departure. Yet, my beloved child, if I do not sever these cords now, your spirit will slowly wither away in silent grief and pity. When I permit someone to exit your life, do not look upon it as a cruel betrayal, but receive it as the protective hand of heaven intervening on your behalf. There are souls who are only meant to write a single chapter in the book of your life, not the whole story. By fighting to keep them, you attempt to rewrite a script whose ultimate victory I have already established. Remember Abraham and Lot. I called Abraham to leave everything behind, never telling him to bring Lot along. Yet he clung to what was familiar, only for them to part in bitter grief later. Walking alongside the wrong companion will inevitably transform my greatest blessings into heavy burdens. So many times, the breakthroughs you pray for are delayed not because my hand is slow, but because you are dragging along people whom heaven never authorized to walk this path with you. I look deep into your heart, and I see the fear of loss whispering to you. You fear the quietness of being alone. You fear the sting of being misunderstood, and you worry that others will judge you as cold. But if you allow temporary emotions to steer your life, you will never walk the path of destiny I designed for you. Remember, some were pleased when you were weak, but grew uneasy when you stood tall, remaining silent in your defense, yet loud in your criticism. It is not true hatred that they feel toward you, but rather an inability to endure the expanding light radiating from within your spirit. The light itself is pure and blameless, yet darkness must always recoil and resist when it is fully exposed. Do not harbor bitterness against them, but instead offer me thanks for revealing the true from the false before you enter this next season of glory. You cry out to me, asking why I allow you to lose those you love, and I whisper back to your soul that I only desire your absolute freedom. Every pruning of your circle is not a punishment, but a holy cleansing. If you cling to relationships built only on passing feelings, you will try to drag them through doors meant only for you, not the crowd. At the very peak of the mountain, space is far too narrow to accommodate the entire crowd. Think of how my son, when he entered the Garden of Gethsemane, took only 3 close disciples with him. And even then, as he drew closer to the deepest agony of prayer, he walked the final distance entirely alone. There are sacred stretches of your destiny where no human companion is permitted to go. No matter how deeply you cherish them, I need you to learn the lesson that so few ever master. True love is not defined by endless grasping, but by knowing when to release. You are not losing these people, you are simply returning them to my care. When I decree that a connection must be severed, it is because I see the hidden path ahead. Your eyes perceive only their kindness and loyalty, but I see the hidden fractures within their hearts that would eventually shatter you if you remained close. I know the promises you have whispered to one another, but I tell you that my word stands far above them all. A pact built solely on fragile human emotion can never withstand what is to come. Unlike a covenant written in the blood of the Lamb. Look closely at your own heart. Why do you insist on clinging to those who are no longer traveling on your road? Are you terrified of being misunderstood? Or have you simply doubted that my presence is enough to satisfy your soul? When you try to mend the threads I have cut, you resist my sovereign hand. You claim you only wish to love as I have commanded, but deep down, you are simply trying to escape the agonizing sting of letting go. Let us speak plainly for you, and I know that true love is never the same as desperate attachment. When I command you to love, I have never commanded you to hold on forever. Do you realize what occurs when you cling to connections I have already marked as finished? Your blessings begin to decay. Sacred spiritual secrets are shared with those who cannot understand them, and your sincere words are weaponized against you. The enemy does not need a massive siege to destroy you. He only needs to use those close to you to slowly sap your faith and your strength. Never let yourself forget that certain individuals who are a source of strength in a past season can easily become a major obstacle in this new chapter. I am actively purifying the circle of those surrounding you, not to rob you of joy, but to ensure your ultimate victory. My purpose is not to leave you isolated, but to keep you from falling prey to deception. Some people are sent into your life solely to highlight a lesson you must master, and once they depart, the wisdom remains with you. I allow you to love deeply, but never let that human love grow louder than my voice. If I tell you to let go, obey, without demanding why. Look again at Abraham. Only after he parted with Lot did my voice speak. I will give all the land that stretches before your eyes to you and to your offspring forever, just as I promised in Genesis 13, verses 14 and 15. The fullness of my promise was unlocked only after those old, limiting bonds were finally dissolved. Do not fear the quiet, empty spaces left behind in your life. I never take things away to leave you abandoned. I prune you to make you clean and fruitful. Where you are willing to suffer loss for my sake, there I will pour out my true abundance. If you cling to what is already dead, how can I fill you with living water? I cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. Let me do my work, even if it hurts. For the wound of today is the door to tomorrow. The day is coming when you will no longer shed tears over those who choose to depart, but will instead offer heartfelt praise that I revealed their true nature so soon. You will develop a sharp discernment to see who was truly anointed to journey with you, and who was merely feeding on the spiritual abundance of your life. In that place of maturity, you will choose the power of silence over endless arguments, and the power of prayer over weary complaints, knowing that I am simply clearing away the old to set a fresh table before you. Rest your heart in this truth. No loss suffered in my name is ever in vain. Every closed door is a path of destruction you were saved from walking. Your only true necessity is me, the unchanging anchor of your soul through every shifting storm. Once the heavy burdens are lifted from your heart, you will begin to hear my gentle whisper with absolute clarity. True spiritual abundance does not arrive in the midst of loud noise and chaotic confusion, but quietly visits the souls that have been thoroughly purified of bitterness and jealousy. As you surrender your grip, my favor will draw closer than ever before. In that sacred quiet, you will discover that I am not just asking you to release other people. I am teaching you to let go of your own pride. Only then will you be ready to receive the great things I am about to bring into your life. From this moment onward, no human hand but my own has the sovereign right to guide and hold your life. My beloved child, be watchful, for the enemy lay a subtle trap by whispering that my silence means I have abandoned you. The enemy lies, claiming I have forgotten my covenant and that your hope was merely a foolish dream. Under this heavy weight, your spirit begins to tremble, and your faith starts to flicker, like a lamp draining its last drops of oil. But I tell you now, my quietness is never my absence. When you cannot trace my hand, that is precisely when I am working in the deep, unseen realms. Like a seed hidden beneath the heavy earth, life is silently forming in the darkness. You find yourself weary from waiting for the locked doors to swing open and for the words of my mouth to manifest in your physical world. As the days pass, your strength ebbs, and you wonder if you misheard my voice entirely. But I tell you, my child, you are not wrong. You are simply passing through the refining fire. Every promise of mine must be tested by time, so your faith can emerge as pure gold. As Scripture says, faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. In Hebrews 11 verse 1. If I handed you the victory immediately, you would never learn how to keep it. It is precisely when you see absolutely nothing that your true faith is born. I have watched you in the dark of midnight, when your soul wanted to completely surrender to the exhaustion. You kneel down to seek my face, only to stand up with a heart weighed down by heavy clouds of doubt, thinking you are not worthy. But my child, I did not choose you because of your performance. I chose you to display my kindness. You and I are building a deep covenant that does not depend on outward circumstances or material results. When you seek only my face, you will find perfect rest, knowing that having me means you lack nothing. Many think that faith is simply standing firm in the midst of a great storm, but it is truly about resting securely in my unchanging love. My beloved child, true faith means staying on your knees even when you have no strength left in your body. When you are utterly exhausted and yet you still believe, that is when the courts of heaven are signing decrees in your favor. I do not keep silent just to test your endurance. I am silent to position you for my glory. This quietness is a sacred test of love. Will you remain faithful when comfort disappears, when every sign is gone and only my word remains? Will you still hold fast? Do not fear the silence, but fear losing your trust in the waiting. If you give up in the final minute, you will never know how close I was to stepping in. So many stop right before the dawn breaks. In their restlessness, so many of my children chase after quick fixes and easy answers, searching for shortcuts. But in that hurried place, they forfeit their true inheritance. You must not walk that path. Remember Abraham, who waited year after year for the son I promised him. When his heart grew weary, he listened to his wife and brought forth Ishmael. That choice brought endless sorrow to his descendants. Sometimes what comes fast is not what is right. I work within time, but I am never bound by time. If you do not learn to lean on me in the delay, you will miss the finest lessons of grace. Waiting is never empty space. It is the sacred room where I shape your heart to carry the promise. If you receive it too soon, it will only crush you. My desire is not to see you break beneath the sheer weight of the answers to your own prayers. Think of my servant Joseph. If he had escaped that prison a moment earlier, he would never have stood before Pharaoh. If human hands had rescued him, he would have missed the destiny I designed for him. It is no different with you. There are doors I have kept shut, not because I have forgotten you, but because I'm rebuilding your foundations. I want you to stand firm when you walk through, instead of falling. I know your heart gets tired and you long to walk away. You watch others who seem to climb so easily, whose blessings arrive so quickly, and you begin to compare. But I did not call you to follow their shadow. I called you to follow me. Their road is not your road. Within your soul, I have poured out a completely different measure of grace. It is a rare grace, one that is birthed only through tears, quiet solitude, and patient waiting. Do not let the frantic pace of the world cause you to lose the rhythm of my footsteps. Remember, I do not run, I lead. Those who learn to walk at my pace will always arrive exactly when they should. even if the road feels long and slow. I am teaching you a deeper kind of patience, one that lives in the quiet of your heart, not just in your outward deeds. True patience is not passive. It is the steady confidence of trusting me when there is nothing else you can do. You do not have to be strong. You only have to stay. Sometimes, simply standing still is your greatest victory. Just keep kneeling. You must realize that I am never late, for every promise I have spoken over your life has its own appointed season. That moment is drawing closer than you think, but if you abandon your post, the blessing will arrive and find you gone. Remember my scripture. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart. As written in Galatians chapter 6, verse 9. My child, I do not fault you for your exhaustion. I only plead with you not to turn back. When you feel I am distant, remember the deep pits I have already pulled you out of. I am the same unchanging God. Delay is not my rejection, it is your preparation. I am training you to trust my voice over the noise of the world. It is in this quiet that I write your greatest chapter. Once you emerge from this long wilderness of waiting, you will never be the same person again. No longer will you frantically chase after quick results, but you will understand the sacred rhythm of heaven. Only then can I safely entrust great blessings to you, without the fear that those very gifts will pull you away from my side. I will have seen that your heart no longer hungers for empty success, but yearns for my presence alone. That is the sign that your true inheritance is ready to be revealed. When you step into abundance, I will test you once more, not with lack, but with prosperity. For success without me is far more dangerous than failure. Rest in my peace, for I walk beside you on both sides of the mountain as you climb in faith. Even as I protect you from stumbling in moments of glory, my beloved child, I see the deep wounds inside you that time has failed to mend. There are harsh words spoken over you during your youth that still echo like a final verdict in your soul. They told you that you would never amount to anything, that your faith was an illusion, and that you were born ordinary. Those words burrowed deep into your spirit, blinding you to your true reflection in me. Every time you believe those lies, you let the enemy redefine who you are. The enemy does not need heavy chains to bind you if it can make you believe you are worthless. But I declare that you are a wonderful creation, as written in Psalm 139, verse 14. You are not a mistake. Never forget that you are my ultimate masterpiece. Though you think those old wounding words have faded, they still secretly govern how you respond to life today. The moment someone looks down on you, your heart slams shut. When someone offers you genuine praise, you find yourself unable to believe it. And when I call you to step out, you tremble, because those ancient whispers return to tell you that you are not enough. You forget that my voice is infinitely stronger than any human opinion. You live like a captive, even though I have thrown your prison doors wide open. People around you do not hate you, but you view them through your unresolved pain. Do not let the shadows of yesterday block the light I have for you today. With tender eyes, I watch you trying to appear strong, striving to establish your worth through success, effort, and even my blessings. But my child, if your deepest motivation is still to prove something to those who hurt you, you are still bound. I did not call you to prove your worth. I called you to live fully in my grace. When you use my blessings to cover your wounds, those very blessings will turn into heavy burdens. I do not bless you to run from painful memories, but so you can bring healing to others who suffer. You do not need success to have value. Your worth is already absolute. Only when you stop chasing human recognition will you find true freedom in me. Do you know why the enemy uses words to wound you? The adversary targets your thoughts because he knows full well that the true battlefield of your life lies entirely within your mind. Once negative words find their way into your heart, they take root and slowly shape how you live. If you believe you are weak, you will live like a victim. If you believe you are unworthy, you will reject the doors I open for you. The enemy barely has to fight when he can let you defeat yourself. But hear my promise. No weapon formed against you will prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment, you will condemn, as written in Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17. Human words have no authority unless you agree with them. I see every moment you were humiliated, misunderstood, or abandoned. I never turn away. I carefully gather every single tear you shed. Yet it is not my desire for you to live in that sorrow forever. If you cling to your pain, you will make it your identity, trapping yourself in the image of a wounded soul. But I have already declared that you are healed. Others may judge you by what they see, but I alone hold the right to define you. My word has never changed. You are the child of the King. Look at Gideon, who said his family was the weakest and that he was the least in his father's house, as written in Judges, chapter 6, verse 15. Yet I looked at him and called him a mighty warrior. I did not address his current situation, but the potential I had placed inside him. Just like Gideon, I do not name you by the shadow of your past, but by the glorious destiny I have already written for you. The critical choice is simple. Whose voice will you listen to? The opinions of people or mine? If you feed on those old critical voices, you will remain locked inside an outdated version of yourself. But if you dare to trust my fresh word, you will find new life on the very ground that caused you pain. I know there are deep hurts you fear to touch, hidden so far down that you think they are gone. Yet they still govern how you react. You avoid love, you fear trust, and you view people through a veil of suspicion. I see you building thick walls to shut out the world. Tell me, my child, how can my light flood your heart if you refuse to let those defensive walls come down? I do not want you to pretend you are fine. My desire is to see you completely whole. Let me lay my hand upon the broken pieces you are too afraid to talk about. Do not fear my touch, for I do not come with judgment, but with restoration. The very parts of you that you believe I would reject are the exact places where I want to start a new creation. When I restore, I do not merely patch you up. I make you entirely new. I do not just wipe away your past. I redefine its purpose. Your old shame will become a witness to my grace, and the pain that once silenced you will become a voice to awaken others. Lay down your armor and let me heal you. My beloved child, it is your own defenses, the heavy stone walls you built to shield your heart, that have kept you imprisoned far longer than the original wound ever could. Look deeply within yourself today. Are you terrified of what human voices will whisper about you? Or are you simply afraid to look into the mirror and face your own soul? Hear me. When you finally realize who you are in me, those fleeting opinions of men will lose all their weight. If you understand that every blessing I pour into your life is meant to glorify my name, you will no longer feel this exhausting need to prove yourself to the world. I have never demanded your perfection. I only desire your honesty. I can only heal and touch the broken pieces you dare to expose to my light. Do not fear my light. It does not come to burn you, but to cleanse you, offering a true inheritance that restores the worth the world stole from you. I'm offering you true freedom. Freedom from the heavy shackles of shame, from the paralyzing grip of fear, and from this exhausting pressure to play the role of the strong one, a burden I never placed upon your shoulders. When I free you from these internal chains, every external blessing I give you will endure. If your heart remains torn, my blessings will feel like nothing more than a beautiful silk garment draped over a badly wounded body. But when I heal your heart, you will wear my favor like a robe of glory, with no fear of what lies beneath. Let me whisper this truth into the quiet spaces of your soul. Absolutely no one has the right to define you but me. No bitter word from others can ever erase your name from the palm of my hand. No dark past is strong enough to break the destiny I have written for you. You are loved, you are chosen, and you are sent. The moment you embrace this truth, every invisible chain binding your soul will shatter to pieces. You will finally stop searching for your worth in the fickle opinions of human mouths, and instead, you will begin to find your value reflected in my eyes. The fear of failure will vanish, because you will know, deep down, that you are already fully accepted by me. A healed heart naturally begins to attract what is pure and true. The people who approach you will no longer seek to take advantage of you. They will be drawn solely to the radiant light of my presence living within you. A restored heart is a sanctuary where I can dwell. When your inner life is washed clean of old, painful words, I will pour out blessings so vast that nothing on earth can hinder them. But hear my warning. While blessings can lift you high, they can also destroy you if you are not careful. Keep your heart soft, so prosperity never pulls you away from my side. What is truly dangerous is not the cold season of lack, but the warm season of plenty, where you slowly forget the very one who gave you everything. Let me whisper this to you, with great tenderness yet absolute clarity. The enemy does not only use hardship to tear you down. He is incredibly skilled at using prosperity to quietly drift you away from my presence. In difficult times, you sought my face. You wept at my altar, clinging to me as your only refuge. But as soon as I began to open doors, as wealth started to flow and opportunities multiplied, your heart quietly shifted its center. You would never say it out loud, but deep down, you began to believe you could manage life on your own. That is the exact moment my gift becomes distorted, transforming from a blessing into a self-made throne where you sit to look down on others. The gift itself has not changed, but the posture of your heart has shifted, turning my favor into a sweet, deceptive kind of judgment. I have watched every single step you took as you entered this new season of abundance. In the beginning, you were still trembling, praying before every single decision, and seeking my counsel on even the smallest details of your day. But then, as your schedule grew crowded, the phone calls multiplied and the invitations poured in. Slowly, you began to treat prayer as an expensive luxury rather than a daily necessity. Reading my word became something you put off for tomorrow, and worship was reduced to something you only did if there was time left over. You have forgotten that the very things you now hold in your hands are the miracles you once knelt down and desperately begged me for. I am the one who lifted you from the dust. Think of how I warned my people long ago. When you have eaten and are fully satisfied, when you build beautiful houses and settle down when your wealth and resources grow large, do not let pride creep in and cause you to forget me, the Creator who rescued you. That ancient warning, written in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verses 11 through 14, was not just for them. It is actively speaking to your soul today. My heart does not break because you have become successful, influential, or highly capable. I am never jealous of your achievements, for I am the one who cleared the path for you in the first place. What deeply grieves me is that when I call out to you, you are suddenly too busy. When I knock at your door, you remain silent. When I prompt your spirit, you tell me to wait. You have begun to value human applause far more than my approval. Without even realizing it, you are drifting step by step away from the absolute center of my purpose for your life, all while convincing yourself that your grand success is a form of service to me. I want you to pause right now, clear away the noise, and look straight into your own soul. If I were to strip away everything you possess in this moment, if your ministry, your position, your wealth, and your entire reputation vanished in a single day, would your life still have meaning? Would you still look at me and believe that I am enough? Hear me clearly. If the loss of my gifts makes you feel like you have lost everything, then those very blessings have already become your God. I do not want you to worship the inheritance I gave you. I want you to walk in deep, daily intimacy with the one who gave it to you. Remember the words my son spoke, asking, "What good will it do a person to gain the entire world, yet forfeit their very soul?" That truth in the book of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 26, was never written to terrify you, but to lovingly draw your heart back into alignment. The gifts I give are not evil, but your desperate, tight-fisted clinging to them is where the danger lies. When you start to believe that you actually deserve everything you own, placing yourself at the center of the narrative and forgetting that all is pure grace, that is when the blessing stops serving you and begins to rule over you. I have seen so many souls who loved me with a fierce fire in their quiet beginnings, only to grow cold as they rose. They were not broken by trials. They were slowly worn down by comfort. It was not the storm that drowned them, but the soft bed that put them to sleep. I see how you are slowly adjusting your standards just to maintain the outward appearance of my favor. Think back to those early invitations you knew deep down in your spirit they did not come from me. But because they were so incredibly attractive and seemed so logical, you convinced yourself that I would surely be fine with them. You began to sign off on tiny compromises, making small deviations, and justifying little things by telling yourself that everyone else does the same. But hear me, child. Every single compromise you make is another step away from your spiritual refuge. A true blessing from my hand never requires you to bend the truth or cheat to keep it. Only things that did not originate from me require deceit to survive. If you must hide a thing, dodge the truth, or avoid my light, then it is no longer my favor. It is a trap. Do not think I am telling you this so you will fear abundance. My desire is simply for you to learn how to guard your heart when you are surrounded by it. I have no wish for you to walk this earth in physical poverty. I want you to be wealthy in resources while remaining completely tender and humble before me. My dream is to trust you with an inheritance so that you can lift up the fallen, heal suffering souls, and open your arms wide to the weak. But if my gifts only cause you to build higher walls, increase your distance from others, and turn your back on the poor, the broken, and my house of prayer, then that inheritance is slowly consuming your soul. Every genuine gift from my hand must draw you closer to my heart, never pull you away. Now, be still for just a moment, and let me ask you this. When was the last time you sought my face simply to be near me? Not for a project you are building, not for a plan you need blessed, and not even for my guidance. When was the last time you wept in my presence? Not under the crushing weight of trying to succeed, but because your soul was desperately homesick for me. When did you last dare to walk away from a highly profitable opportunity simply because you felt it was beginning to dim my voice in your heart? I do not ask these things to condemn you, but to help you find your focus again. Wherever your heart truly feels at home, that is where the real master of your life resides. Let me teach you how to enjoy abundance without letting it control you. You must practice bowing lower every single time I lift you higher. The higher you rise, the deeper you must kneel. The more I place into your hands, the more willing you must be to let them go. Do not grip my gifts so tightly that your fingers become rigid, leaving you unable to move when I ask you to act. You must practice releasing back to me what I have entrusted to you. I do not ask this because I need your resources, but because your own soul desperately needs to remember that you own absolutely nothing. You are merely a steward of my wealth, and a wise steward never mistakes himself for the master. My beloved child, I see the moments when anxiety grips you, when you worry that prioritizing our relationship over your career will cause you to lose precious opportunities. I smile at this fear because I am the sole author of your path. No door I have opened for you can ever be shut by man. You only lose your way when you step outside of my orbit, so do not be afraid to slow your pace in order to protect the state of your heart. Never hesitate to lay down a few heavy burdens to preserve the sacred connection we share. Be bold enough to say no to invitations and rooms where my presence is not welcome. It is infinitely better to lose a single earthly opportunity and keep your soul intact than to gain 1,000 doors of success and lose who you are. Remember the warning I gave to the wealthy through my servant Paul in the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 6, verse 17, to instruct those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant, nor to fix their hope on the extreme uncertainty of wealth, but to anchor their hope in me, the living God. This is not just for the wealthy, but for anyone to whom I have entrusted talent, influence, or deep resources. At any moment you might appear wealthy and abundant in the eyes of someone else, so do not wait until you hold vast fortunes to begin practicing true humility. Start right now, my child. While my blessing is still just a tender green shoot in your life, remember that the younger a tree is, the more carefully it must be trained to grow straight, so that in the future it will not have to be cut down. I speak these words to you now, so that your heart may find deep peace. Hear me. I am never afraid of your success. My only fear is that your achievements might carry you away from my protective hands. I rejoice when you are lifted high, but I weep if on the day you are honored, my voice is drowned out by the applause. You were never born to be a star. You were created to be a mirror, reflecting my light to the world around you. The cleaner and clearer that glass remains, the more sharply my true image can be seen through you. Therefore, my child, keep your heart soft and yielding before me, for that is the only way to prevent my blessings from hardening into false idols. Whenever you find yourself clinging to a gift more tightly than you cling to me, have the courage to lay it down upon my altar. When earthly praise stirs your soul more than my gentle whisper, run back to our secret meeting place. If your days become so crowded that there is no room left for us, allow me to prune the branches. I do not trim your life to make you poor, but to preserve the most precious thing you own, your eternal soul. Countless souls have stood strong through their darkest nights of weeping, only to stumble and fall on their brightest days of celebration. I do not want that to be your story. You and I have walked side by side through the deepest, shadow-filled valleys, and I want to walk with you on the mountaintop just the same. Both heights and depths require my presence in equal measure. Keep this single truth close to your heart. Your inheritance is not the crown on your head, but the living evidence of my grace. If you guard this, my blessings will never become a snare. Instead, your life will become a bridge guiding lost souls back to my embrace. I see the unspoken pain you carry, that quiet ache when you share your joy, but find only envy in the eyes of those you love. Their smiles remain fixed, and their congratulations are spoken, yet the atmosphere around you suddenly turns heavy. It is as if your joy has accidentally bruised a dark, hidden wound in their hearts. Do not tell yourself you are simply being too sensitive, because you are not. Your spirit has accurately sensed the silent resentment rippling beneath the surface. Right in the midst of your own family, among those you love most, are hearts that tighten with envy whenever you speak of victory or new favor. This wounds you deeply, not because you look down on them, but because you cannot comprehend why walking closely with me makes you feel so isolated. I have watched it all, seeing you shrink back and hide my work, out of fear of their cold stares. I hear the silent pleas you never dare to speak aloud, the painful questions you bury deep inside. You ask me in secret why it is that as your influence grows, you feel more cast aside by those you love. I've counted every single tear you shed in the dark hours of the night. Those tears did not flow from a lack of physical things, but from the agony of being completely out of sync with the people closest to your heart. You have begged me to keep your soul from turning bitter, to help you love them still without being broken by their rejection. I was there for every whispered prayer, and I never missed a single heavy sigh. I know there were times you wanted to let go of everything, exhausted from trying to balance my supernatural favor with fragile human relationships. I saw you longing to shrink back into the old version of yourself, to become small and unnoticed so you would not make waves. I heard you whisper that perhaps you should stop here, fearing that if you go further, you will offend everyone. I understand, and I am not angry with you. It only pains me that you cannot yet see your life from my eternal perspective. Today I lift your head, not to scold you, but with the warm authority of a father who has already sealed your future. Do not turn back to the dry land from which I delivered you. Do not walk backward on this path just because of the critical eyes of others. Your designated inheritance is set, and it is no longer subject to change. This was decided in a sanctuary far higher than any earthly power or spiritual authority. In my throne room, I have signed my name over the portion of inheritance meant for you. What I have ordained has already left the place of decree and is traveling swiftly toward the destination I chose from the beginning. It bears only one address, and that is your very life. No force, not even your own doubt, can halt its arrival. Yet you can delay this promise, or turn it into a heavy burden if you let fear guide your steps instead of faith. You have survived a secret wilderness that others know nothing about. They see your current victory, but I watched every step of your path. I saw you stay silent when insulted, quiet when judged, trusting only me. By choosing to let me be your defender, instead of fighting to protect your own name, you positioned yourself perfectly for my divine intervention. I have not forgotten the painful days when you quietly swallowed humiliation just to protect others from hurt and to shield the work I was building in you. You may have felt weak and broken in those hidden moments, but to me, those tears were precious foundation stones. I have used them to construct a throne of grace over your entire life. Now the season of your reward is finally breaking through the horizon. This is not just about a single blessing, but a complete transformation of your spiritual authority. When you speak now, the atmosphere around you shifts. When you lay hands to pray, heavy chains begin to break. Now when you walk into a room, the darkness is forced to shrink back from my light. This is a spiritual authority, forged through many quiet tears and the times you stayed silent, yet refused to stop believing. However, because you carry this power, the enemy refuses to sit idly by. He knows exactly what great things I am about to perform in your life, and although he cannot block my hand, he can still target your heart. If he can make you waver, if he can convince you to throw away your calling with your own hands, then you will not be positioned to receive my fullness. This is why your mind has felt so tangled lately. Familiar critical voices have begun to echo once again from your family, your relatives, and those who used to walk close to you. They speak words that sound incredibly reasonable on the surface, wrapped in what seems like genuine concern. But deep in your spirit, you can feel the sharp, hidden point of the spear. Some will warn you not to be so extreme in your devotion, telling you to live quietly, to stop mentioning my name so often, and to stop viewing everything through a spiritual lens. Others will subtly prey on your fear of abandonment, pretending to offer comfort while sowing seeds of doubt. They ask what you will do if I ever stop helping you, or who will catch you if you fall. These smooth words are like tiny threads, but if wrapped around you enough times, they can bind a giant. The enemy knows you love these people, so he borrows their lips to plant doubt. If these warnings had come from strangers, you would have brushed them aside. But because they flow from the lips of those you honor, your heart wavers. You begin to wonder if you have gone too far, and if you should tone down your faith just to keep everyone happy. Listen to me carefully, my precious child. Not every gentle word comes from my breath, and not all family advice aligns with the destiny I have laid out for you. The adversary is far more cunning than you realize. He rarely shows himself as a monster. Instead, he speaks through those you are terrified of disappointing. He will intentionally strike your oldest, deepest wounds, reminding you of childhood rejection and times you were treated as insignificant. He wakes those old memories, planting a deep fear that if you keep walking in my favor, you will end up completely isolated and misunderstood. He wants to convince you that if you could just remain ordinary, your life would have no trouble. This is his strategy. Since he cannot stop me from showering you with goodness, he tries to make you reject my gifts or live far beneath the abundant life I have prepared. He whispers lies that I do not care about your exhaustion, that I do not see your tears, and that I am only using you as an instrument. None of those whispers contain a shred of truth. They are pure venom, aimed directly at your most fragile spaces, and I need you to see through this scheme. You are under no obligation to believe any voice that causes you to doubt my love, no matter how close that voice may be. You are permitted to honor other people, but you must never elevate their human opinions above my divine word. I am not asking you to oppose your family, nor to despise anyone. I am simply telling you not to let any human being, even the one you love most, hold the right to direct your spiritual destiny in my place. When you allow them that position, you hand the key of your life to human hands, when it belongs solely to me, your creator. Come back to our secret place, where it is just you and me. Let us restore the plumb line of your soul, and there you will easily distinguish my voice from all the rest. My child, when I speak to you, my words might sometimes pierce your heart and press on those hidden painful places, but they will always wrap you in hope and draw you closer to my side. I will never leave you feeling cast aside or rejected, even when the path is narrow and difficult. There is another voice out there, and it does the exact opposite. It seeks to make you hide in shame, whispering that it is safer to stop moving and stay stagnant. While my voice lifts your head, the enemy's voice makes you stare at the dust. I speak peace, but they sow utter confusion. Today, you and I are going to expose every single trap of the enemy. Remember, I never promised that everyone would celebrate when you finally claim your inheritance. So many people only look at the outward appearance. They see the favor, the doors opening and the praise, but they are completely blind to your silent battles. They do not witness the agonizing nights where you surrender your pride, or those quiet midnight conversations we share when the world is asleep. They sit in judgment from a distance, constantly comparing and harboring envy. But listen to me. My child, you were not created to manage their feelings or keep them comfortable. You were created to follow my voice. Sometimes following me means walking through a season of being deeply misunderstood. I do not want a hollow, forced smile from you. I want a heart that remains tender and soft in my presence, even while you stand strong on the outside. Choose instead to lift them up in silent prayer, keeping a wise and healthy distance without letting bitterness fester in your soul. This quiet grace is the true mark of spiritual maturity, showing that you refuse to let their darkness corrupt your own heart or turn your wounds into a cold, unyielding shield. Let me remind you once again, never shrink yourself to fit into the small boxes of other people's expectations, especially out of a fear of being left alone. You do not have to dim the light I placed inside you just because it hurts their eyes. I did not raise you up so you would have to beg for permission to move forward. If you pull back every time someone else flinches, you will never cross the finish line. Trust me to handle them, while you simply walk in faith. As you begin to walk fully in the calling I have set before you, you must realize that certain connections will naturally begin to shift and fade. This is not a sign of failure, my child, but a divine separation designed to set you completely free. Keep this close to your heart. The beautiful inheritance I am giving you is not meant for your comfort alone, but to turn you into a fountain of blessing for those very people who misunderstand you right now. The ones who doubt you today may very well be the ones who knock on your door tomorrow, searching for your prayers, your strength, and your guidance. If you lay down your calling now, you will not be there to save them when they need you. Look past this fleeting moment and see their pain through my eyes. Therefore, my precious one, do not lose heart or fall apart just because of a few critical stares or cold glances. Remember that I'm the one who handpicked you, engraving your name onto this sacred portion of your destiny. My decree is already signed and sealed in the courts of heaven. The only question left is whether you will find the courage to stand your ground. Do not allow a handful of harsh words, a passing storm of emotion, or the heavy shadows of old memories to drag you away from the place where I have planted you. Wake up your spirit. Keep your ears locked onto my whisper and plant your feet firmly. It is fine to feel weak, but do not let go of my hand as we enter this crucial stretch. The coming glory will test every heart, including yours. Make up your mind this very moment that my voice will always be the first and final authority in your life, regardless of what others whisper. Let those secret tears you weep in the dark turn into powerful prayers of intercession for your loved ones and for those who are blinded by the favor I have poured over you. I want this inheritance to do more than just show my goodness to you. Let it become a bridge that leads lost souls straight into my arms. Above all the chaotic noise of this world, there is one constant call that will never fade. It is me, gently calling out your name. Whenever the storm of praise and criticism threatens to overwhelm you, run back to the quiet place where it is just us. There you will remember your true identity. I'm holding on to you with an unyielding grip, and I will never let you fall. Your only responsibility is to keep your heart tuned to my frequency, making sure my voice rises above the roar of the crowd. As long as my words anchor you, this blessing will never become a snare that ruins you, but will stand as undeniable proof that I am working in the midst of envy and confusion. Lean in and listen closely, my child. Long before you ever did a single thing for me, before you spoke to crowds, signed agreements, or tasted success, I already named you my heir. This was never about a perfect record or your own strength, but simply because I poured my love on you. I saw you in those dark nights when you fell to your knees and still refused to blame me. During those seasons of deep humiliation, when you chose quiet grace instead of angry rebellion, I beheld the most beautiful thing. A heart that, though fractured and imperfect, was willing to stay by my side. You had every reason to walk away, to pretend you never knew me, but you remained. You knelt before me, even when your mind was a chaotic storm. You raised your hands in absolute surrender instead of putting up a cold, defensive wall. Even when life gave you every excuse to speak curses, you chose to utter blessings. The world never saw those small, painful choices, but they echoed through the halls of heaven. It is because of those silent victories that I've signed a fresh covenant over your life, sealed not with ink, but with the blood of the Lamb. This sovereign choice of mine was not debated in some earthly boardroom, but was finalized in the highest courts of eternity. The angels do not move according to your shifting feelings, but in perfect obedience to the decrees I have spoken over your life. The moment I declared that my own inheritance belongs to you, the spiritual realm shifted on its axis. However, you must realize that anything carrying eternal weight will always provoke fierce opposition. A rare and precious treasure is never left unguarded on an open path, and the glory I have destined for you will draw both my divine favor and the bitter envy of the enemy. Darkness will not remain quiet when a fragile child rises up to walk in my will. That is why I whisper to you, stay alert. I do not mean that you should lie awake in fear, but that your spirit must remain sharp and able to distinguish my true voice from the subtle whispers of deception. Naturally, as my blessings begin to overflow, your first instinct will be to tell everyone, sharing your dreams and plans with whoever will listen. I know that joy makes you want to celebrate with others, but you must remember that a smiling face does not always mean a happy heart. Some who stood with you in your dry seasons simply do not have the maturity to handle the light now shining on you. They could love you when you were broken, but they cannot stand to see you restored. Guard your heart, my child, because sharing too freely will only invite wounds. I am teaching you the sacred art of holy silence. Understand that some of the deepest secrets I whisper to you are meant only for us, not for the eyes of the public to critique or analyze. Think of your dreams as sacred seeds that must remain buried in the dark, watered by your private tears and prayers, rather than being dragged into the bright sun before their roots can take hold. When I guide you into a quiet season, feel free to pull back from certain conversations and draw your circle close. This sifting is not a punishment or abandonment. It is my divine shield. I am keeping you safe from those who want to dissect your growth rather than support it. Let your deepest thanks rise to me in secret, and let your tears of gratitude flow in private, far away from any performance. Perhaps you have realized that several of your closest relationships have suddenly begun to grow cold. Those who walked right beside you have drifted into the distance, and the environments that once brought you comfort now feel suffocating and small. I see you wondering where you failed, why their hearts have turned, and why whispers are rising from the very people you trusted. Your soul is in agony, desperately wanting to patch things up and return to the way things were. But listen closely, my child. I am doing a new work. I am not stripping these connections away to isolate you. I am sifting your life so you do not drown in toxic loyalty. During this hour, the quiet departure of these people is the exact rescue you prayed for. Though you might try to avoid calling this a loss, I see the deep ache in your heart, and I know exactly how much this hurts. I know your soul thrives on loyalty, and that you are not someone who cuts ties easily or without tears. You sit alone, replaying beautiful memories of comfort and the storms you braved together, wondering if I am asking you to be ungrateful. I hear every single one of those silent cries. But let me remind you, being thankful is beautiful, but handing people the power to dictate your future is dangerous. You can cherish what they gave you, without letting them hold the keys to where you are going. I alone hold your destiny. If I see that someone will derail the blessings I have planned, I will gently move them away. Do not worry about those who have walked away, for my hands have already carved out a perfect path for their lives, just as I am carefully guiding yours. You and I, we are walking through this transitional season together, and I want to keep your path completely straight. Look closely, and you will see that the souls who remain by your side are the ones who are never blinded by your light, never jealous of your sacred calling, and never shaken by whispers or rumors. They do not need to know your secrets to pray for you on bended knee. I am gathering these faithful hearts and bringing them closer to you now. Stop weeping over the hands that let you go, or you will miss the new hands I have placed right beside yours. Your eyes look around and perceive nothing but emptiness and loss. But I tell you that my work in your life is actually a profound cleansing of your soul. I am not just sweeping away the dust from your outer world. I am washing away the toxic habits that have taken deep root in how you connect with others. I do not want you building relationships out of a fear of loneliness or out of a desperate need to feel validated by human applause. The people I allow close to you must be those whose hearts I have first touched with my fire. If they have not walked through the furnace with me, they will only drain the blessings I give you, and in the end, they will bring dishonor to my holy name. I hear your quiet whispers, saying that you cannot bear the thought of causing anyone pain. But you must trust my sovereign hand. You grow so restless inside, constantly wanting to explain yourself to everyone, trying to hold on to every single thread and keep every person happy. I know your gentle heart, my child, but your desire to be nice must never stand higher than my direct word to you. When I shut a door, do not dare to reopen it with your endless explanations. When I remove someone from your circle, do not drag them back in out of guilt. If you continue this, you will remain trapped in a chaotic whirlwind, and the beautiful blessings I have prepared for you will be delayed again and again. Quietly place your hand over your beating chest right now, declaring that your heart belongs solely to me, because that is where the enemy has drawn the fiercest battle line. Your heart is the sacred home where I long to live, yet the darkness desperately wants to occupy it. The enemy will not knock with ugly things, but with clever thoughts that seem so reasonable. It whispers that you should not be so extreme, or that you owe people your time. These thoughts make you doubt the quiet voice of my Holy Spirit, leaving you utterly confused about who to follow. In those moments of noise, you must run back to our secret place. Do not stand there debating with the crowd. Come back to me. Never search for wisdom or seek the advice of people whose knees have never bent in deep, quiet prayer. Let me be the ultimate voice you seek, and the only one you choose to obey. You must remember that you are not entering this great inheritance as a hired servant working for a wage, but as my beloved child, who is entrusted with my own portion. I am placing what I treasure most into your hands, inviting you to build, expand, and care for it by my side. True heirs do not live for their own whims. They live knowing everything belongs to the Father. If an old relationship habit or promise threatens to steal my glory, you will have the fiery courage to cut it off, living for a kingdom far greater than yourself. I need you to anchor this truth deep within your soul whenever I let something slip from your hands. It does not happen to leave you empty-handed, but to clear a path for what is purer, truer, and infinitely greater. My child, you and I are preparing for a glory that requires room to breathe. When you feel stripped of what you love, ask me, Father, are you making space? I do not play cruel games of punishment with you. I am preparing a sacred place. What looks like painful loss to your eyes is, in my view, the beautiful alignment before my blessing is poured out. Do not struggle against this spiritual shift, and do not rush to stitch together the old threads that my hands are untying. Understand that the aching in your chest right now is not the strike of a mortal blow, but the labor pain of a beautiful new birth. I am clearing the road ahead, so that when you step into the vast inheritance already chosen for you, old webs and entanglements will not drag you backward. I am training you to live as a mature heir, one who guards my presence, discerns spirits, and chooses my voice over fleeting comfort. One day, when you look back at this long road, you will see that every person who stayed was a gift, and every person who walked away was part of my shield to protect you. You will be grateful for all of them, fully free, living your daily life completely under my loving gaze. In that moment of perfect clarity, you will finally comprehend the deep truths I have whispered to your soul. From the very beginning, I did not choose you just so my blessings would overwhelm and swallow you, but so that you would rule over those blessings by my side. You were never created to be controlled by the gifts I give you. You were made to join me, using those gifts to rescue countless others from the dark valleys where you once walked. Your life is the living proof that my grace can heal a broken soul, guide them through the fire, shave away the useless excess, and crown them with a heavenly inheritance that hell can never touch. Quiet your soul, my child, and listen closely to my voice. Prepare yourself, because what is about to unfold in your life is not some minor adjustment, but a monumental shift at the very root of your existence. The beautiful inheritance I am shaping for you is grander than any dream you have ever dared to imagine. It will sweep through your finances, rewrite how you view your own worth, restore your family, and change how others speak your name. I am designing a glorious season where the exact things that once brought you deep shame will become your greatest testimony. Rooms in your home that used to feel heavy with silent despair will be filled with my fresh breath, turning every anxious cry into a song of victory and overwhelming hope. The chaotic fields of confusion that once ruled your mind are now being silenced by my peace. I am stepping into your thoughts, breaking your ancient habits of worry and replacing them with the brilliant wisdom of my Holy Spirit. You will no longer think like an orphan who constantly fears starvation and loss. Instead, you will think like a child who knows their Father owns the universe. You will stop asking, "Am I worthy of this gift?" Instead, you will ask, "Father, how can I use this to honor your will?" This complete renewal of your mind is the most precious part of your inheritance, teaching you how to walk in abundance without letting that abundance consume your soul. Do not mistake my spoken words for simple passing comfort, because they are meant to burn a brand new identity into your soul as a true heir of my kingdom. You are no outsider, and you are no bystander. Your name, which used to be dragged through the mud of shame and failure, will become a shining testament to my grace. I do not promise that everyone will suddenly adore you, but I promise that the narrative around your life will completely change. When they speak of you, they will be forced to witness how I lifted you from the ashes. I am writing your life like a living book, chapter by chapter, using your broken past as the heavy canvas upon which I embroider beautiful gold threads of restoration. If you feel a sudden warm trembling deep within your chest as you listen to my voice, know that this is no fleeting emotion. It is my Holy Spirit touching the cold, silent chambers of your heart to awaken them. You are not imagining this, nor are you mistaken. I am breathing a fresh spark of faith directly into your soul, declaring that your story is far from over, and that my plans for you eclipse everything you have ever lost. As this fire begins to burn, do not just sit there with a warm thought. Instead, seal this moment with an act of faith. Right now, as you watch, press the like button on this screen as a bold declaration before heaven and earth that you fully agree with my promise. Let your spirit shout that you welcome the divine inheritance I have promised, aligning yourself fully with my eternal covenant. Understand that I do not need likes to become greater, but your soul needs a tangible action to seal this deep decision in your heart. When your finger presses down on that screen, it is not just an empty gesture. It is a quiet, powerful declaration that you stand hand in hand with what I am doing in your life. You and I are signing a holy agreement today, a sacred covenant written in the Spirit. Do not do this out of habit or to satisfy some worldly algorithm. Do this as a pure prophetic act, marking this day as the moment you stepped into my grace. Remember how my people in ancient times brushed the blood of the spotless lamb across their wooden doorposts as a sign of my ownership. In this present hour, your tiny act of faith is a soft whisper rising to my ears, declaring that your life, your future seasons, and the grand inheritance I have prepared for you belong completely to me. Today, you and I are embarking on this journey together. This quiet movement of your heart shifts everything in the unseen realm, turning you from a silent observer into an active player in my eternal design. You wonder what the value of a single tap could possibly be, but I smile, because I do not look at the physical tool. I look at your devotion, seeing the deep intention of your soul. By aligning your heart with my truth, you lay another solid stone upon the path leading straight to your divine inheritance. No matter how small your action is, when you do it simply because you love and trust me, it resounds beautifully throughout my heaven. Never look down on simple things, for I delight in using the small and the humble to swing open the greatest doors. The moment you respond in faith, my entire heavenly host begins to move. I do not do this because I lack power, but because I deeply honor your free will. I will never force my blessings on you. When I knock, you must open, and when I invite, you must answer. Every time you say yes, I believe it sends a powerful signal through the spirit world, telling my angels that you are ready. The enemy watches you closely, and he knows that pushing you down is no longer the easy task it used to be. You are standing firm upon a different foundation now, a strong foundation of faith, but has been tested through the fire. Think back to all the times the adversary tried to crush your spirit. He used the sharp words of acquaintances, family members, and those you once called friends to stab the tenderest parts of your heart. He attacked your physical body with relentless exhaustion and sickness to make you doubt my deep love for you. He assaulted your emotions, leaving you completely drained and so weary of living that you wished you could just disappear. And in those dark hours, he whispered, "Why keep praying, since everything is already ruined?" Your adversary has pushed you into tight corners where all you could see were blank walls, trying to force you to believe that your future was a dead end. He twisted every single situation and changed his tactics constantly just to make you quit and walk away. But look at you now. You are still standing. Even when your progress was slow and you could only drag yourself forward one step at a time, you did not give up. On those nights when you had no words left to pray except a heavy sigh, you never turned your back on me. You still opened your heart to listen to my voice and found just enough strength to seek my promises. To the world, this might seem minor, but in my eyes, you have won greater victories than you know, sowing seeds of inheritance with every choice to stay faithful. Because you refuse to stop walking, you're now incredibly close to your breakthrough. Far closer than your feelings will let you believe. You might feel like you still have a massive mountain to climb, but in the spiritual realm, you have already traveled the distance you once thought was impossible. The enemy desperately wants you to think that all your quiet efforts have been useless. But I promise you, not a single one of your tears has ever fallen without meaning, and not a single day you struggled to stand firm went unnoticed by me. Every soft whisper of, "Lord, I still trust you," has touched my heart deeply. The inheritance that is coming is not a reward for being perfect, but because you clung to me through your weakness. Now, my child, I want you to listen to me very carefully. Let me assure you that those who refuse to yield will surely see the fruits of their labor. If you keep walking, even at a slow pace, you will reach the destination I have set for you. Those who guard their faith, even if it is as small as a tiny mustard seed, will sooner or later harvest the sweet fruit of that devotion. This is not some empty slogan of the world. It is the eternal law of my kingdom. I established from the very beginning, but whatever you sow, you will also reap. You have sown months of quiet trust in me, and now you will reap a beautiful season of blessing. You sowed long, sleepless nights while tightly holding my hand, and you will reap bright mornings with open doors before you. I speak this to you with the authority of the first and the last. No human power, no difficult circumstance, and no force of darkness can ever block what I have ordained for your life. People may whisper lies and slander you, but they cannot erase the sacred promises I have spoken over you. They might slam certain doors in your face, but I can easily open new pathways that they know absolutely nothing about. The trials of life may try to delay your steps, but they will never make me alter my divine plans. When I release a blessing in the heavenly realm, it will find you at the perfect moment, in the exact way I have chosen. The only thing that could cause you to miss it is if you decide to walk away and step out of my divine flow. So guard your heart, my child, and stand on my word like a solid rock, for your breakthrough is closer than you think. Let the tiny step of faith you take today become a powerful declaration echoing deep within your soul, a vow that says you will never turn back. When you resolve to walk with me to the very end, I will handle everything else. I will personally protect, guide, correct, and support you so that my blessings never become a heavy chain, but rather a living proof that your Creator always keeps His promises. While I warn you about the dangers of a hardened heart in times of abundance, I also need you to hear this truth. You are never abandoned to the schemes, jealousy, and secret plots of men. Even if there are people who gather behind closed doors to plan your downfall, they cannot succeed. I am watching over you, and my plans for your future remain absolutely secure. Even if whispers secretly spread to tarnish your good name, and even if jealous eyes watch closely, waiting for you to fail, none of them can cross the boundary I have established around you. They can plan, lie, and work together to make you doubt yourself, but they can never destroy the destiny I have sealed over your life. As long as you rest safely under the shadow of my wings, remember that you are not just a name on a page to me. You are the very apple of my eye, precious beyond measure. Anyone who tries to harm you is touching the most sensitive part of my heart. I do not promise that you will never feel the sting of pain, but I promise that every trial is kept within my perfect boundaries, and no weapon can pierce the shield of protection I hold over you. Like gentle rivers winding silently through dry, dusty fields to bring life and nourishment to the soil, my blessing does not arrive with a loud, dramatic show. Instead, it comes as a steady, patient, and deep current of grace. I am not blessing you so that you can keep it all for yourself. My ultimate desire is for my presence to overflow from your life into your family, your marriage, your work, and generations you will never meet. I want your household to resemble a dry field touched by the spring rain, where seeds you thought were dead suddenly burst into beautiful life. I long to see your home filled not just with food and comfort, but with deep laughter, real forgiveness, and a peace that no earthly storm can shake. I want you to taste a success the world cannot understand. I want you to experience true success without losing your soul, to possess great abundance while keeping a humble heart, and to stand at many confusing crossroads, yet always choose me. But for any of this to happen, my child, there is one crucial thing you must do. You have to trust the plan my own hand has sketched out for your life. You and I both know your existence is not a series of random accidents, nor is it a game of chance. Long before you drew your first breath, I knew your entire path, including every stumble, every detour, and every single day you would feel too exhausted to take another step. I am never shocked by your mistakes. I simply wait with open arms for you to return to me. This beautiful reality can only unfold when you choose to surrender your heart into my hands, instead of trying to manage every detail with your own anxious calculations. I see the painful battle raging inside you right now. On one side is my gentle voice inviting you to rest quietly in the arms of your loving Father. On the other side is the frantic voice of fear, telling you to protect yourself and grip your life tightly so you do not lose a thing. Whenever you find yourself standing at these difficult crossroads, I whisper to you softly, will you dare to trust me? Having faith in me does not mean shutting your eyes and hoping for the best. It means daring to obey my words, even when you cannot see any immediate results on the horizon. To truly trust me means being willing to let go of temporary advantages so that you can keep your heart pure and undivided before my eyes. It means having the courage to walk the narrow path that very few others ever choose to travel. Even when those around you stare in confusion, this deep trust is the key that unlocks the massive treasures I have stored up for you in the heavenly realm, waiting for the perfect moment to be poured out. When you allow me to hold your hand, my child, I do not promise to lead you only along flat, easy roads. I will walk beside you through the roughest terrain, under the darkest skies, and when the roar of fear is loudest. I am not a god who visits only during grand celebrations and then vanishes when your tears fall. I am the Father who is present in every small detail that others overlook as meaningless. I listen closely to the quiet sighs you keep hidden from the world, the heavy breaths you do not dare share with anyone else. I see through the mask when you pretend everything is fine, while feeling completely hollow inside. Today, you and I are going to walk this path together. I do not promise to remove every single obstacle in your way, but I promise to stand beside you in the fiercest winds, shielding you, so no storm can ever tear you from my embrace. I can transform any hardship into clay to shape you, and there is no dead end where I cannot carve a path. If you walk alone, you will stumble on stones I already saw. Without me, you will wander onto lonely detours, pacing in circles through the choking dust of confusion and regret. But when you let me walk beside you, I will show you exactly when to pause, when to run, when to guard your tongue, and when to speak with bold clarity. The wisdom I offer is not a cheap collection of shortcuts to simply survive. It is a brilliant light that redirects your entire existence, ensuring that wherever you travel, your eyes remain fixed on me. On those dark days when the air is thick with uncertainty, hear my voice. You do not need to see the whole horizon. You only need to take the next step in my light. Today, let go of the heavy burdens the world tells you to carry. Giving up your worries to me is not defeat. It is a profound declaration of trust. Each time you lay down a burden, your actions whisper to me that you believe I can handle your life better than you can. I hold those silent prayers close to my heart, treasuring them as a sacred offering of honor. Picture your fears and anxiety as heavy, jagged rocks sewn into the hem of your coat. Clutching them tight only drags you down and keeps you from looking up at the sky. But when you hand those stones to me, your shoulders find immediate relief. In that quiet exchange, I wrap you in a mantle of peace that shields your mind from the bitter cold of despair. Keep this truth written deep in your soul. My promises of peace, abundant provision, and clear direction are not hollow phrases to decorate a wall or evoke a temporary emotion. They are active, breathing words, a solid covenant sealed by my eternal faithfulness. The true success I want for you is not measured by earthly numbers, high titles, or public applause. It is a life walking on the right path, finding complete fulfillment in me, whether you have little or much. The wealth I want to pour out is not just a high bank balance, but a generous heart that knows the deep joy of sharing. This peace is not the absence of storms, but a steady soul when trouble arrives. I have prepared these gifts for you, waiting for you to trust me. My precious child, guard the fragile flame of faith in your heart, like a traveler protecting a candle on a blustery night. Do not let the sudden storms of life blow it out. Your faith does not need to be loud, showy, or impressive to the crowds. It does not need to prove its strength to anyone. It simply needs to be genuine. If you can only manage to whisper through your tears that you still believe, even when you cannot see the path ahead, that is more than enough for me to keep working on your behalf. My commitment to you is total. I care about your grandest spiritual moments and your most ordinary daily chores. No part of your life is left for you to carry all on your own. I want to walk with you through your brightest celebrations and your deepest griefs, your greatest victories and your most painful mistakes. In every season, my grace will show through how you live, how you react, and how you find the strength to stand up again after falling down. My love for you is vast, far beyond anything your human mind could ever comprehend. You might hear the phrase that I love you so often that it has lost its wonder. But I want you to stop and think. Since I did not hold back my most precious gift, my only son, what would I withhold from you if it truly helps you draw nearer to me? I never planned to abandon you in your daily battles. My silence is never my absence, even when you feel alone. Your changing feelings are never the true measure of my presence. I am always there because of my promises, because of the eternal covenant we share, and because of every single time I rescued you from a dark pit when you did not even know how you survived. Therefore, my child, make the choice to trust. Do not rely on fleeting emotions or shifting circumstances, but place your faith in me, the one who has held your hand from your very first breath to your last. When you surrender control of your life to me, you will see my promises lighting up the shadows. Watch stuck projects suddenly break free. Witness broken relationships heal, and feel a hard heart soften into beautiful tears. The inheritance I have for you is not some distant, vanishing mirage. It is a real home of grace, where your name was written long before the world began. You and I have been moving toward this moment, and I am waiting for you to quiet your mind and soften your heart to receive it fully. When you step into this blessing, you will not have to fear that it will overwhelm or ruin you, because your soul will not cling to the gift itself, but to me, the giver of all good things. My child, what I am giving you is not a sharp blade to hurt you, or a heavy hammer to shatter your spirit. This gift does not come to crush you, but to lift you up from the heavy losses of your past years. This grace comes like a warm, loving hand reaching down to pull you out of the mud of shame. It gently wipes away the tears you had no time to dry, and lifts your chin so you can see yourself as I see you. I will wrap this blessing around you like a beautiful new coat, not for proud display, but to cover the wounds from those times you were rejected, misunderstood, and pushed aside. It brings back the dignity you thought was lost forever, heals the quiet aches you were too afraid to name, and honors your silent endurance. I'm not lifting you up to prove you right to the world, but so that everyone who looks at you will stand in complete wonder of my overwhelming kindness. When you step into this brand new season, many shocked eyes will turn in your direction. People will watch from afar, unable to comprehend how your life changed so fast. Why closed doors suddenly swung wide open, or why someone they dismissed is now being honored. They will whisper, make up stories, and try to attribute your success to natural talent, wealthy connections, or simple luck. But you and I will know the beautiful truth. The real turning point was not a phone call, a contract, or a lucky meeting. It happened in the quiet moment you knelt before me, chose to let go of what I asked you to surrender, and remained faithful in the hidden places that others looked down on. You will remember the exact day these words touched your soul, no matter how many years go by, because that is the moment I marked you as mine. I am here with you. I am speaking to you, and I am rewriting the chapters of your life. I have held your hand through the pitch-black valleys, so the beautiful future ahead is not some grand comeback you achieved on your own. It is the living proof that I never leave my work unfinished. You must understand that my inheritance is not just a sum of money to cover your bills, a fancy title to win respect from others, or a small platform of influence. Those things are just tiny pieces of the blessing, but the true treasure goes so much deeper. My inheritance is bound to my eternal promises, carrying the very breath of the covenant I sealed with you through the cross. Every single blessing is not some random stroke of luck, but a decree stamped by my throne. It is a royal seal, declaring that you belong to me. Your life is held in my hands, and your story is written by heaven itself, not by human hands. When this inheritance arrives, it carries the weight of my righteousness and truth, not just worldly success. You once came to me begging only for daily bread, pleading not to be in want, asking for the bare minimum just to survive. But I am not a cold master who tosses you a scrap of bread and leaves you to struggle on your own. When you ask for my provision, I am doing far more than just helping you survive this month, this job, or this project. Let us look at this together, my child. I am completely rebuilding the entire design of your life. I do not just want to give you a steady paycheck. I want to give you a true reason to live. I want you to wake up every morning knowing your purpose, knowing who you are, and knowing the Lord who loves you. You pray for mere survival, but my answer is to give you abundant life. I know you have sat alone, weeping, asking why relationships shattered, why your family broke, and why those you trusted hurt you. You want a simple explanation, a clear answer to your pain. Your mind is searching for a simple explanation, but I'm designing a deep restoration for your entire soul. You and I know that a quick answer is not enough to heal the quiet ache inside you. I'm not merely here to settle scores or point out who was right and who was wrong in the ruins. My heart longs to mend every fractured piece of your life, to bring peace between you and your past, your family, and most of all, to draw you close to me. Some broken bonds may not be rebuilt as you envisioned, but I will stitch your heart back together in ways that defy human explanation. You might never hear the apologies you deserve, but I will pour out a peace that no one can steal. You begged me to pull you out of the pressure, but I never stop at just enough. My deliverance always overflows the small boundaries of your expectations. When my hand reaches down to lift you from the dark pit, I do not leave you trembling on the edge of the cliff. I lead you into a wide, secure meadow so you can stand tall and help others climb. Where you once prayed only to survive the winters of lack, I have decreed a harvest of abundance. This wealth is not for hollow vanity, but to rebuild shattered lives, to support the weak, and to comfort those walking the same dark paths you just left. I have gathered every tear you thought was lost, and I will multiply your quiet faithfulness. My child, once you see that this inheritance is woven into a grand design, you will see my blessings in a whole new light. You will stop viewing my favor as a trophy of your own labor, recognizing it instead as a monument to my endless mercy. No longer will you use what I give to lift yourself high above others. You will use it to bow low and serve. Your old question, how do I hold on to this blessing, will fade, replaced by a deeper cry, how can I surrender this to the sovereign will of my Creator? This shift will break the power of greed over you, transforming you into a faithful steward who knows that every gift is merely borrowed. I hold the ultimate purpose and ownership, but you must know this truth. Many around you will refuse to accept who you are becoming. They only know how to see you as a dreamer, a failure, someone with radical faith, but no real future. There are onlookers who will dismiss your rise as mere luck, or whisper that you have simply become clever and opportunistic. They will dig up your old mistakes, desperate to find some flaw that disproves what my hand is doing in your life. Do not let their cynical voices entangle your soul. I did not bestow this inheritance upon you so that you could spend your days defending your worth to critics. My actions are meant to reveal my glory, not your defense. When the floodgates open and the blessings pour, those who truly seek me will see your story for what it is, a pure testament to my grace. Let this truth settle deep into your spirit. I have been walking with you from the very first moment when you were clumsy, broken, and so very weak. Every time you stumbled, I was right there beside you, especially when you cried out that I had abandoned you to the dark. If you are standing in a wider, safer field today, it is not because you are suddenly superior to others, but because I never let go of your hand. You and I know how close you came to giving up, and this memory will keep your heart humble as the honors come. This truth will stop you from building a pedestal for yourself, turning your blessings into a welcoming bridge that guides weary travelers to me. Let me make this clear. Your inheritance was bought with the blood of my only son, not a cheap favor given on a whim. What I have built in your life is eternal, and no human hand can tear it away from you. No jealous rival can push you out of the line of destiny I have drawn for you. Though they may attempt to smear your name and unleash storms of gossip, The covenant I have sealed over your head remains completely unbreakable by human hands. The only one who can walk away from this promise is you, which is why my voice pursues you when you begin to drift. Remain in me, gently but firmly, just as a green branch clings to the vine. By staying connected, you tread a path of quiet miracles, not loud spectacles, but the daily, beautiful unfolding of a changed heart. Through this inheritance, I will pen new chapters that reach far beyond your own life. Your blessings will wipe the tears of the hopeless, proving that no soul is ever cast too far from my love. Years of quiet suffering will soon make perfect sense, as you realize that none of those painful moments were wasted. There is no wound too deep, no loss too heavy, and no midnight breakdown that I cannot use as vibrant color for the masterpiece I am crafting out of your life. When you choose to use my favor, not to fence yourself off in a proud fortress, but to throw wide the gates for others to heal, my blessing fulfills its divine purpose. I know these words fill you with a mixture of immense joy and reverent trembling. You rejoice because the dry season is ending, and you tremble because you know the weight of the path ahead. Do not let fear overtake you. I do not speak to make you anxious, but to keep your soul awake and watchful. My hand will never weigh you down with more than your shoulders can carry. I will never push you into a season of high prosperity before your heart has fully learned to rest in my strength. Every single thing I construct in your life flows with a deliberate rhythm, a protective process, and a shield of grace. Your only task is to take one simple, obedient step today, leaving the grand design of the map entirely to me. Let these promises leave an eternal seal upon your spirit, for you are poised on the edge of a great transition. Remember the lessons I whispered to you during the darkest nights of lack. The lessons of humility, deep worship, and thanksgiving. They are the anchors that will hold you secure when the winds of honor blow. When this inheritance finds its proper resting place in your heart, your spirit will flourish rather than wither. It will elevate your standing, yet it will never pull you from my grasp. While others begin to treat you with respect, this rise will only deepen your need for me. You and I are going to display a miracle so undeniable that onlookers will have to confess, this is not human effort, but the hand of the Lord. Pause for a moment, my beloved, and see yourself as heaven sees you, setting aside the labels of your past. My children were never meant to beg for crumbs under the tables of the proud, nor scramble for human pity. You are an heir, and heirs live from the boundless abundance of their Father. I created you to walk through this world knowing you belong at my table, not begging for scraps beneath it. Those who are mine do not wait around for human gatekeepers to grant them permission to succeed. They cross over thresholds that I have opened specifically for them, doors that no earthly force can ever lock. They do not depend on a single stream of income, because I can summon provision from sources your mind cannot comprehend. You will be sustained by what the world calls coincidence, but is actually my unseen hand at work. I will move people to speak life over you, lifting you up without you ever having to ask. I do this not because you are perfect, but because I cherish a heart that remains loyal, refusing to run when the path turns bitter cold. Your spiritual adversary watches all of this unfold and burns with a bitter, toxic rage. Because he can never hope to scratch your name from my palm, he tries to deceive you into letting go of my hand yourself. His strategy is rarely a series of loud, violent attacks. Instead, he uses subtle and seemingly harmless suggestions. He sends smiling figures into your life, voices that sound supportive, but carry daggers aimed at your trust in me. He feeds you just enough flattery to lower your armor, while quietly planting doubts in your mind about my promises. He drags up old, shameful memories you thought were buried forever, whispering that you are too stained to ever deserve the inheritance I have prepared for you. The voice of the accuser forces you to replay your worst mistakes, whispering that you will never be anything more than your failures. He does not have to lure you into terrible sins to defeat you. He only wants to make you shrink back, give up, and feel too worthless to accept your divine destiny. But, my precious one, the enemy never expected my secret plan. I was never a distant spectator during your struggles. I was wrapping you in my presence when you felt utterly alone. I used those very days when you felt cast out of heaven to push the roots of your faith deep into the soil. When your head was bowed under heavy sorrow, I laid my hand upon you. When you felt too exhausted to move, I whispered that as long as a single thread of faith remained, I would carry the rest. Under the safe shelter of my wings, I concealed you when you felt defenseless against the cruel judgments of the world. I shielded you from hidden ambushes and silenced lies before they could ever reach your ears. I broke up conspiracies against your life that you never even saw, all because I had already declared in the courts of heaven, "This child is mine." I know your body has been weary, your heart shattered, and your mind spinning in absolute chaos. I heard you when you wished you could just disappear from existence. You and I are going to move past those tearless nights when you stared blankly at the dark ceiling, unable to pray, offering only heavy sighs. I heard those silent groans, and I am answering them now. You looked at your broken pieces and called it a total failure, but to me, it was the rawest, most beautiful song of praise you have ever offered. You and I both know how hard it was to keep going when your world fell apart and you felt completely shattered. Yet you could not bring yourself to let go of my hand. You whispered in the dark, "Lord, I do not understand this pain, but I still need you." Yes, you were weak and you trembled with fear, but you did not run away from me. When you lifted those heavy, exhausted hands and could barely mutter a single word of worship, you thought I was silent. I tell you, all of heaven was moved by your quiet faith. When you choose to believe in me, when every reason is gone, the spiritual battlefield begins to shift. My angels do not wait for you to shout or perform great deeds before they rush to your side. They receive their orders the moment you refuse to break our bond in the secret, quiet places where no one else is watching. In those times, I look at the armies of heaven and tell them to guard you because you are letting me refine you in the fire. You look around and see only a small, lonely room and a tired heart. But when I look at you, I see a precious heir being forged into deep spiritual strength. I am preparing a witness in the heavy darkness of your despair. The inheritance I have set aside for you is not a sudden last-minute thought, and I never waited for you to have it all together before I began preparing it. Long before you even knew who you were, I had already designed your life in my thoughts. Your body was carefully woven together by my hands, and I wrote the first lines of your destiny in my scroll. I knew every wrong turn and dead end you would choose. I saw your stumbles, your compromises, and the moments you would break your own heart. I know the dark things you still hide out of shame. Yet, through all of this, the map of your inheritance was never torn up. It may have been folded or delayed, and some paths were made much longer, but it was never erased. Yes, your unwise decisions and unhealthy attachments to certain people have drained your strength and pulled you far off course. But I'm not finished. Let us speak honestly about your past. There were moments when you partnered with things that did not come from me wandering into dark places where I never intended for you to walk. You entered into relationships and alliances thinking they were blessings, but they were actually invisible nets designed to slow down your progress toward your true destiny. I watched those cords wrap around you, and I allowed difficult situations to rise so those traps would be exposed. When you were betrayed, abandoned, or falsely accused by people you trusted, you thought I had walked away. In truth, I was using those painful collisions to cut the chains binding your soul. You asked me why I did not give you this blessing when you were still young and full of fire. What you did not realize back then was that if I had handed you your inheritance while your soul was still in constant turmoil, it would have drowned you. Your eyes were still blinded by the sweet words of others. In those days, you were too easily moved by warm handshakes and beautiful invitations that sounded noble, but carried selfish motives. You truly believed that anyone who used my name and spoke of spiritual things was holy and upright. You did not have the wisdom to separate my true light from a distorted reflection. Because you were so easily swayed by anyone who flattered you, you were ready to share sacred, deep things of life and death that should have remained hidden in the secret place with me. If I had given you those blessings too early, too many greedy hands would have reached in to steal what I designed only for you. I love you far too much to allow others to ruin your destiny. This is why I allowed time to become your teacher, shaping your heart through the years. The pain you felt did not come to destroy you, but to make you grow strong. Those long, quiet seasons, where you felt completely alone, were not times of abandonment, but moments where I taught you to hear my whisper above the noise of the world. Rejection from people became the bitter medicine that freed you from needing their approval. Every time you were pushed aside, I was actually drawing you closer to my heart, to teach you how to know my voice. Through your tears, you and I have walked through the hard realization that not everyone who stands next to you is meant to walk with you to the finish line. In the breaking of your heart, you began to love hard truth far more than pretty lies. When you look inside yourself today, you can see how much you have changed. You are no longer the person who is easily swayed by fake praise or spiritual offers that steal your peace. Now you can see the difference between those who want to use you and those who are willing to help you carry the heavy load. Your choices are no longer about personal gain, but about following my quiet whisper. You can face the storms that once terrified you with a calm, steady heart, ready to protect my gifts. Listen closely, for I can finally tell you what I had to keep hidden from you until this moment. The time of your promise has drawn very near. It is not because you have become flawless. You never have been and never will be on your own. But because you now bow your knees to me far quicker than you bow your head to the opinion of the world. You have learned to walk away from wrong relationships to preserve my voice, choosing my presence over human company. You now understand that my inheritance is not a heavy crown of pride, but a cross you carry with joy in the calling I have given you. Because your heart has entered this quiet, mature season on the inside, a new door is about to swing wide open for you on the outside. Even as this breakthrough draws near, my child, I want you to remain a humble student rather than acting like an owner. You must always remember that what I am giving you is just a single brushstroke in the grand masterpiece I am painting with your life. This is not the end of your road, but the beginning of a brand new path, but will bring deeper healing to those around you. I am not blessing you simply to make your life easy, but to turn you into a wellspring of life for others. I trust you with this, because I see that you do not just want to gather blessings, but you truly desire to be a channel of my love. Keeping this humble attitude will protect you, ensuring that the heavy blessings of heaven will never crush you. Your life will become a living proof of my deep love, my constant protection, and my endless patience. Those who lie in wait for you to fail, who whisper in secret and plan your downfall, have no idea that I am using their moves to lift you up. They think their cruel words will destroy your spirit, but I catch every arrow they fire and turn it into proof of my faithfulness. They think they can erase your voice by pushing you into the dark, but they do not know that the darkness only makes my light inside you shine brighter. The jealous believe that blocking your path will stop you in your tracks, but they do not understand that I can easily build a brand new road where no path ever existed before. I will open a way for you in places where others see nothing but dead ends. When your enemies rush to slam doors in your face, I am not worried at all, for with just one word from my mouth, a new door will appear that no human power can ever lock. Never forget that the inheritance I have set apart for you is built on my voice, not on the shifting opinions of people. I do not speak empty words to amuse you, nor do I make promises just to calm your fears for a fleeting moment. The heavens and the earth will move to fulfill every single word I have spoken over your life. I do not abandon my children. I am not like humans who make promises and change their minds. My love is as steady as a mountain, and my word stands forever. Think back on the long years of your life, and let us remember them together. Have there not been countless moments when you were certain everything was over, yet I stepped in and made a way? Have there not been times when you believed you would not survive the night, yet here you are today, breathing and listening to my voice? That truth alone should prove to your heart that I have never abandoned the masterpiece I am building in you. You are my personal creation, and I will never let anyone ruin what my hands have made. Even if great storms lie ahead and the challenges seem much larger than your strength, I am not worried. Where you see high mountains, I see opportunities to show my power to the world. I look only at my own power, and I lack absolutely nothing. You wonder how you can win a massive battle when your voice is barely a quiet whisper. But you are not walking into this fight alone. The struggles ahead are not meant to test your human strength, but to serve as a stage where my glory can be revealed to everyone watching. You do not need to exhaust yourself trying to prove your worth to the world. You only need to stand firm and let me fight on your behalf. This inheritance I am preparing for you will flow like a powerful river through your children and your grandchildren. When I touch your life, I am covering your entire family with my grace. You think you are fighting only for yourself, but you are building a legacy. Let us look closely at what is happening right now, because in truth, you are breaking chains that have bound your family for generations. Those heavy, invisible barriers that held your ancestors in defeat, smallness, and shame. I am here to shatter them completely, so your descendants will never have to repeat them. I'm bringing those ancient, repeated bloodline patterns to an end through your very life. This divine inheritance I am giving you is not merely a sum of money, a house, or a position. It is a new history being written. You will see things that seem dead being raised up by my hand. Even relationships grown cold, which seemed far beyond saving, I can restore. I will pour love back into a marriage that feels like duty, rekindling it with gentleness and patience. I can call families who have long ceased kneeling to pray together back to my altar. Even the children in your home who have seen you stumble and heard your harsh words, I can use the very change in your heart to show them that I am real and alive. The true inheritance I give is not found in material things alone. It is found in the deep reconciliation I bring parents who finally know how to say sorry, children who learn how to be humble, and brothers and sisters who come to one another in forgiveness. Right now, I'm touching the deepest cuts in your heart, those quiet places where you stopped praying long ago. It was not because you stopped believing in me, but because you became afraid to hope again. You once prayed for someone to change, prayed for a habit to be broken, prayed for a door to open. When years passed by without a single sign of change, you tucked that prayer away into a locked drawer and assumed I did not intend to touch this area. You stopped mentioning it, stopped expecting anything, just to spare yourself the pain of seeing nothing change. But my child, my silence is not a final stop. Just because you see no movement does not mean I am not at work. There are deep surgeries that must be done at layers the human eye cannot see. In the same way, I am quietly touching the deep regions of your soul. When the time is right, the result will appear so wonderfully that even you will be amazed. Even those painful words that pierced you when you were still a child, words thrown out in anger or just for fun that stayed inside you for decades, I am healing them too. I've never overlooked those cruel sentences spoken against you. I know every single word, and I will not allow them to stand as the final verdict over your life. The inheritance I am releasing is not merely about giving you more, but replacing those old judgments with my new declaration. Hear me. You are the one I love. You are not excess, you are not an accident, and you are not a burden. I will use the very places of your humiliation to honor you in a way that forces people to admit only I could have done this. They may think they shaped your future with their words, but I have the last word. You used to think my inheritance was just a series of financial breakthroughs or a string of job and ministry opportunities. My desire is for you to understand that the inheritance I give is absolutely complete. It is the full restoration of your self-respect, the ability to look into the mirror without shame, and the freedom to be your true self in me. It means walking into a crowded room without that old whispering voice pulling you back, telling you that you do not belong there. You will receive a compliment without needing to exaggerate or deny it, because you know where your value comes from. This blessing will not puff you up with pride, nor will it make you shrink back. It will help you stand tall, yet still bow your head before me. The inheritance I am preparing is not a temporary patch on a tear, but an entirely new garment, tailored to the stature I intended for you. I refuse to stick a small bandage on a deep wound that is already infected. My desire is to wash it completely and heal it from the very root. I do not want you to merely hurt a little less. I want you to be truly and completely well. I do not want you to just survive day by day. I want you to live fully. That is why the blessing I give will always be accompanied by a deep inner transformation. You will not only receive material things to use, but also the kind of heart that can carry them. And pay close attention to this. What I pour out over you is not the crumbs that fall from someone else's table. You do not have to live off leftovers or eat what others have refused. Your inheritance is not what people no longer want. I give you your own portion, marked in heaven with your name. The flow I have prepared is no tiny stream that dries up under the sun, but a deep source, flowing from me, the spring of living water. You do not have to run from place to place, trying to catch a few drops. When you abide in me, I can make a spring break forth in your very desert. When everything around you is barren, you can still be renewed, because your source does not come from circumstances, but from me. The words I promise you do not dangle in midair, waiting on chance. They rest on the foundation of my unchanging, faithful nature. People change, seasons change, but I do not. When I say I will be with you, I do not add conditions later. When I declare that I have plans of peace for you, I do not step back when you stumble. Though I may correct you and reorient your steps, I will never withdraw my promise. This divine inheritance is not the kind of thing that is here today and gone tomorrow. It is a steady process, held fast by my own hand. Even when your hand shakes, I do not let go. You may ask me, what do I need to do in all of this? I say to you only this: remain in me. Do not leave the place where I have planted you. Keep your heart soft, so that when my blessings come, they do not harden your heart. Let me lead you step by step. Even when you think you are wise enough already, let me call you back to our secret place. Every time you are intoxicated by applause, remember to look back and see how I have walked with you, so you can believe I will not change in the future. If you hold on to me, this inheritance will not be a danger, but will become the road I use to bring you and those who belong to you closer to my heart. One day you will stand and look back at all I have built in your life. You will understand that the schemes of men were never the main story. They were only the dark backdrop that made my grace stand out. The tears, the long nights, the words people once spoke over you, all of them only deepen my story in you. This inheritance you are stepping into is not meant to exalt you, but to retell the story of a God who keeps his word. who never abandons, never breaks his promises, and always brings to completion what he has begun. Once this truth is deeply anchored in your heart, you will walk without trembling before my blessing and without fear of losing it. You and I both know the most precious thing you have is not what is in your hands, but the one who is holding your hand. My child, when my words begin to take physical shape in your life, the very atmosphere around you will shift. Not only will circumstances change, but even the way people look at you will be different. Some will rejoice with you sincerely, but there will also be jealous eyes watching only to see where you will stumble. That is why I do not want you to lay out everything I am doing in the secret place between you and me on every banquet table. Keep those holy things hidden until the proper time. Do you know what truly belongs to our covenant? It is the quiet times. I pulled you out of the dark depths. It is the words I whispered to your soul when you were crying in the dark. These are not stories to parade around, just to gain the attention and applause of the world. My dear one, I want you to learn which things should be spoken aloud and which must be kept on the inner altar of your heart. Joseph once shared the divine dreams I gave him with people who were not on the same spiritual wavelength, and his lack of discernment sent him on a roundabout journey. While I still turn evil into good, you do not need to add extra twists to your own path. What I am opening up in you right now is like pearls still wet in my hands. If you toss my pearls carelessly before those who are only curious, they will be trampled and your heart will be crushed. I want you to look straight at this reality. Not everyone who smiles in front of you truly wants you to succeed. Some come close when you are weak, just to feel above you. Others show up when blessing pours out because they smell gain, not my fragrance. I am not telling you to suspect everyone, but I want you to have spiritual eyes to discern. If you treat everyone the same, you will entrust holy things to unfaithful hearts. Right now, I am quietly rearranging the circle around you. I am pulling certain names away and allowing the true motives of their faces to surface. There are companions you thought I sent, who are in reality only passers-by, there to take and not to give. As these faces gradually become clearer to you, do not be alarmed and do not rush to blame me. This is how I protect the seed of inheritance I am sowing in you, so it will not be buried in a field of mixed truth and lies. Let me say this gently, yet truthfully. There are relationships you called brother, sister, or friend, but I myself have never called by those names. You gave them the right to speak into your life and share the deepest things I had told you. You allowed them to step into places meant only for me, and when they turned their backs, you shattered. You did not realize that many times my hand was in that very separation. By loosening your spiritual boundaries, you have slowly allowed your precious heart to become a playground for the enemy. Hear me now, my child. I never established the sacred brotherhood of Christ to be twisted into a tool for control, jealousy, or manipulation. When you find yourself silencing my quiet voice just to avoid displeasing someone else, when you feel suffocated every time I ask you to obey because they whisper, do not be naive. That is your warning. This connection is no longer pure. Do not take my warning about being unequally yoked lightly. It is not a mere moral slogan, but my holy safeguard for your spiritual destiny. In this season, I am personally pulling back the curtain on the actors in your life. I am letting their words pierce you and letting them walk away. I am allowing these awkward, uncomfortable situations to expose the hidden motives lurking within every heart around you. You might cry out to me, asking why I force you to witness such ugliness. But you must understand that these things did not suddenly appear. They were always there, hidden in the shadows, but your eyes were closed to them until now. The rich inheritance I am preparing to hand over to you cannot be placed in a room filled with toxic fumes. If your atmosphere is heavy with envy, jealousy, and silent plotting, my blessing will only feel like heavy pressure, and my favor will become a golden trap. So, like a master craftsman, I am sifting you. I skim off the dross, separating pure gold from sand, stripping away everything that clings but does not belong. I know with absolute certainty that if I leave everything exactly as it is, the very things you refuse to confront today will drag you down the moment my blessings begin to pour over your life. You might think it is better to keep the peace, to let everyone get along, and to leave things undisturbed. But hear me, my child. A false peace is infinitely more dangerous than any real storm. A beautifully painted house with deep cracks in its foundation needs only one fierce gust of wind to collapse into ruin. And I love you far too much to let your life be built on sand. If you have recently lost people you thought you could never live without, and if names once close now feel distant, do not view this as a tragedy. See it as a holy cleansing that my own hands are actively carrying out for you. Do not think I am tearing down your world for my own amusement. I am carefully dismantling everything temporary in your life to build a foundation that is truly unshakable. Your only task right now is to stop trying to glue back together what my hands have pulled apart. Instead, stand completely still and trust me to finish my work. As I purify your outer world, I am inviting you to examine your inner heart. Where do you plan to place me in your relationships and your future decisions? I do not care for the loudest songs or the longest prayers. I am searching for a heart that makes me its absolute center. True honor is not just saying, "Thank you, Lord," with your lips, but having the courage to say no to what is not of me, even when it looks incredibly beautiful and tempting. Tell me when you sign a business contract or accept a new partnership. Do you consult me first? Do you truly weigh how these choices will impact your spiritual life? When you cling to someone simply because you are terrified of being alone, do you ever stop to ask, "Lord, is this person walking in alignment with your will for my life?" I want you to invite me into every single step you take, not just into your scheduled times of prayer. Stop keeping me locked out of your planning process, only to call me in at the very end to bless a decision you have already made. I am not a rubber stamp for your own personal agenda. I am the author of your life, the one who designs the path you are meant to walk. I do not want you dividing your walk with me from your work, your family, or your finances. To my eyes, your entire life is interconnected. The way you spend your money is a direct reflection of what you truly worship, and the way you treat those under your authority reveals whether you truly understand the deep grace I have poured out on you. Your reaction to criticism shows me whose glory you are actually seeking, mine or your own. Do not trick yourself into believing that reading your Bible, attending church services, and joining religious activities means you have completed your spiritual duties. Your inner life is the quiet, underground stream that feeds every single part of your existence. If you treat intimacy with me as an optional hobby, rather than the very air you breathe, you will soon find my blessings turning into heavy stones of burden, rather than light gifts of grace. I speak to you today with all the fierce tenderness of a father who deeply loves his child. The hour has come for you to get serious about the state of your soul, and to stop playing games with things that belong to eternity. Do not wander in and out of my holy presence, as if it were a common theater, staying only when it pleases you and leaving when you get bored. Do not plaster my name over your personal ambitions just to call it ministry. Remember, I know absolutely everything. I see exactly where you are sincere and where you are just putting on a show. What I desire is not a flawless child, but one who has the courage to strip away the mask. If you are honest with me, I will be real with you, pointing out the dark places you fear to touch and freeing you from chains no blessing could ever break. Never forget that the inheritance I've prepared for you is not about gaining more possessions, but about learning to live more truthfully. I want my presence to expand inside you so deeply that wherever you go and whomever you stand before, people will smell the sweet fragrance of my spirit rather than the earthly scent of your own success. This is exactly why I am correcting the tiny details of your daily life, how you talk about people behind their backs, how you handle friction, and how you respond when you are misunderstood. I do not correct you to make your life difficult, but to prepare you for vast territories where a single prideful attitude could cause your destiny to collapse. Before I expose you to the eyes of many, I must know your heart lives only for my eyes. If you will simply yield and let me carry out this painful work of purification, a day is coming when you will realize how incredibly light you have become. You will no longer exhaust yourself trying to maintain a false image, nor will you live in constant terror of losing relationships, career opportunities, or your social standing. Instead, you will finally understand that the only thing of true value you must protect is your connection to me. The companions who remain by your side after this shaking is over will be the ones I have personally chosen for you, not those holding on through their own human effort. They will not feel threatened or overwhelmed by the abundance of your blessings. Rather, they will stand in quiet awe of me, the sovereign God who blesses you. Beside those true companions, you will finally be able to breathe, to be your authentic self, to weep and to show weakness without ever being judged or despised. This is the pure, holy environment where the rich inheritance of heaven can truly blossom. So I tell you, do not grieve over the things I am removing from your hands. Stop trying to repaint the faded faces I have allowed to slip out of your life picture. And do not scramble to hold on to the seats I have quietly pulled away. The tighter you cling to the past, the more it will hurt you. The more you surrender, the sooner you will be set free. Stand tall as my child, one who respects my holiness, trusts my heart, and obeys my voice. When I am at your center, your blessing becomes a gateway to my heart. Now, as your heart rests quietly and open before me, I want you to turn these words into intimate whispers, speaking to me, your Father, as the only one who truly understands every single beat of your heart. I hear your soul calling out to me, saying, "O Almighty God, beloved Father of my life, today I draw near to you, bringing not just my daily needs, but the quiet fear that if you pour out your great blessings, my heart will not be strong enough to hold them. You are crying out for me to protect your inner life before I swing open those new doors. You are begging me to shape you so that you will love me, the giver, far more than any gift, and seek my face above any worldly success, choosing to fear distance from me more than any lack of money or lost opportunity. I hear your plea when people shower you with praise and new doors swing wide open. You want your ears to listen only for my voice and your knees to bend even lower in worship. You are asking me not to let my blessings harden you into a proud, cold person, but to use them as a pathway to bow in deeper humility, remembering that you are merely my steward, not the owner of these gifts. You desire to live such a life that whether you are lifted high or brought low, anyone looking at you will see only one undeniable truth: that I am your everything. I see your anxious heart, my child, as you bring me your fears about the whispers, the jealous glares, and the hidden plots of men. I know the words that wounded you, and the unspoken hatred that makes your soul tremble with doubt. So today you are releasing all those dark human shadows into my hands. You are asking me to free your heart from the crushing obsession of what others think, and to anchor your soul firmly to the eternal truth of what I say about you. Let me remind you now, anyone who strikes out against your life with evil intent is touching something incredibly precious that I am personally guarding. Rest in the absolute certainty that no human plot can shatter the divine destiny I have ordained for you, as long as you remain hidden in me. You are not asking me to sweep away every difficult person in your path, but you are begging for a steadfast heart, one that refuses to hate, refuses to fear, and refuses to react in anger, but instead stands completely still, watching my hand fight your battles. My child, I have watched you wander, letting your heart drift far from my presence, yet I never turned away. I waited with the patience only a creator possesses, counting the days until you would return. You cried out with urgent demands, but in my sovereign wisdom, I chose not to answer on your timeline. Had I given you those things when you begged, their weight would have crushed you, for you were not yet mature enough to carry them. I closed doors that made you weep, but those locked gates were pure grace. In those seasons when you felt utterly abandoned, I was actually hiding you from the enemy's sight. I held you back and slowed you down to save your life, so that today you could stand here and hear my voice. Every delay, detour, and moment you felt pushed aside was held securely in my hands. Not a single second was meaningless, and I receive your life now as a beautiful song of thanksgiving. I want to show you the true face of my blessing. It is not a gift that draws you away from me, but a tool I use to reveal my glory through you. I will never hide the subtle dangers of prosperity from you. Instead, I speak to your heart with both gentleness and absolute seriousness. I have allowed you to experience both empty hands and overflowing cups, so that you might learn the secret of relying on me. In seasons of lack and days of abundance, my presence is your only true constant, keeping you anchored. I never despise your small steps. I saw every time you trembled with fear, yet still chose to do my will, and every time you walked away from tempting paths because they did not bear my mark. I've kept all of these moments close to my heart. I do not merely care about what you perform for me. I care deeply about you, my precious child, who gets tired and afraid, yet still desires to love me. I hear your prayer offered in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Keep walking with me and join this gathering of believers by subscribing and enabling notifications so that together you may build a strong, vibrant community of faith.